Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your girl, Tiffany, Madam Luscious Black Beauty, your poetic psychic Pisces, High Priestess, aka Diamond. I am here for another one of my videos. I'm going to be speaking on, I think, several different topics. I actually have, several different things that I want to speak on. However, um, they were actually kind of supposed to be broken up into multiple videos. However, I'm going to kind of speak on a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I do hope everyone is doing well and feeling well, as I always say. And of course, I wish everyone peace, love, and light. So, I think I'm going to start this off with some scripture that a lot are aware of, which is John 15:18 through 19. If the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world, then the world loved its own. But because I chose you out of the world, therefore the world hated you. And this explains a lot of what targeted individuals are going through, because we are persecuted on the daily basis, and we have a long history of many leaders, outspoken individuals, prophets, of all kinds. You can trace this all the way back to before our kind, if you will. And there's just a long history of betrayal and persecution and prosecution and murder, death, and destruction of many different individuals who were essentially targets. And so, in this modern day time, many of us whom are targeted individuals, it seems that we are hated by the world. We have our own flesh and blood, our own supposed family, whom plays a role in this. Thus, they hate us. We have those whom are closest to us, whether it be fake, phony friends. Lovers, partners, spouses, who all partake in this, who not only partake in this, but they are clearly, they do so in an effort to deceive you. And then you have the random individuals that are around you on a daily basis. So this can be just your regular, everyday, average Joe strangers, to people whom you work with, people you may go to church with, if going to church is your thing, people in power, people in government, especially people in power, and people with high profile, elite type of positionings and everything. They are the force and the drive behind this whole psychological operation that goes on. So I think first what I'm going to speak on is, and I think I'm going to entitle this video, The Making of a Target Set Up for the Next psyop. Some people may be aware, many are probably unaware, that targeted individuals are more than just targets. You have some people go through things in life, various different things, and they look at this one thing or maybe a couple different things and completely dwell upon this, that, or the other, and think that is solely what it's about. People are targeted individuals for various different reasons. Many of us are awake. Many of us do not go along with the status quo, the propaganda, the agendas of these powers that be. Many of us are very outspoken individuals. Many of us have spoken truth, which is essentially what made us targets. From the moment that it was realized that we were not only awake, but we dare speak the truth of what this world is really about, we had a target on our back. And those closest to us, people around us, they were either convinced, coerced, or threatened to, or recruited to participate and go along with the plans, the plots, the schemes, the tactics to continuously gang stalk and harass the said targeted individuals, whom are essentially victims. I really kind of hate continually to use targeted individuals because you have so many cons who are opportunists and they look for um, things to latch onto and drain it for all that they can pull out of it. But this is a very real thing that is happening to hundreds of thousands to millions of people all over the world. The sad part about it, there are a lot of people whom are targets who are unaware. There are a lot of people whom are targets who are suffering in silence. They don't really have the drive, they don't have the passion, the ambition, the motivation to speak up or to speak out. And so a lot of individuals are suffering in silence. And so anyway, I believe the topic of this video is going to be the making of a target set up for the next psyop. And as I was saying, besides being targeted for whatever in particular or specific reasoning, because a part of the targeting, they try to make you feel like you are being targeted for a specific reason, but when it is broken down according to right and wrong, according to law, there's not even any aspect of anything religious that justifies uh, the illegal approach and the malicious evil approach of the things that they do when targeting a person. Thus, it is not right by any means at all. But a lot of people are unaware that targeted individuals, they are targeted on various different levels. And oftentimes there are a lot of different mechanisms that are used to stalk, to harass, to invade, to violate, to target a individual. And those who plain and simple, if you do not stay in control of your own mind by any means necessary, somebody else is going to control it for you. With as much technology that's in this world right now, there is this constant, ongoing, nonstop, 24/7 campaign to manipulate and to control the masses, period, point blank, whether you are a target or not. This is constantly going on. So there's a lot of people in the world who are brainwashed and dumbed down and just unaware, blind to the fact of what is happening and what is going on. Those of us in the know, you know, we can speak out about these things, but at some point, many of us run into um, this brick wall where we get this resistance, this pushback, this, kind of where we go through the process of people trying to discredit us or make or gaslight us and make us believe, oh, this isn't happening, this isn't going on. And then that predominantly comes from other individuals who actually in fact know this is going on, but they are the recruited gang stalkers, the handlers of these operations, the ones that are in the shadows, whom are running, ruling, controlling these operations, all the way to those who fund these entire operations. But besides everything a targeted individual endure, many targets and many people are unaware that targeted individuals are being triggered. You can be triggered to say certain things. It's called forced speech. You can be triggered to do certain things against your will. Your limbs of your body is being controlled. It can be something very subtle as scratching your head, or it could be something as forceful as recklessly having sex with someone that you may not have normally hooked up with or had sex with. Or they can control people in various different ways, but they are using a hypnotic type of formula of hypnosis, putting people in a trance under mind control, up a level or a portion of the MK Ultra mind control is used in combination with some type of hypnosis type of mind control that, and it's used on various different levels. But this is what they use to trigger people to commit suicide. They would love it to push you over the edge and get you to commit suicide, because then they can lie and make up anything and just say, oh, that person had been having some issues, that person was depressed, that person had always been suicidal, that person has had a long history of problems, or this, that. They could just make up whatever. But they trigger people to commit suicide. They trigger people to commit homicide. There are a lot of heinous crimes that are taking place on a daily basis, and most people assume that these are just random occurrences. These are random acts of violence by various different people, and it's not that. People are unaware just how serious this matter is. And when people speak out about being targeted individuals, it's so easy to try to brush us off and be like, oh, yeah, right, or whatever. But what people don't understand, there are people in the world whom do not identify with being a target. They may not be awake. They may not have gone through an awakening. They may not be aware that they are a target, but they can use this technology anywhere at any time on anyone. So when you see certain crimes taking place over and over and over again, these things are being set up. These things are being triggered, and nobody with common sense has stopped to even think about this. The first thing that people love to say is mental illness. Well, you can't just put the things that are happening every day in all different parts of the world on mental illness. Why? Because what you would then be saying is that the majority of the world, not just the United States, the majority, what you would be saying is the majority of the human population in the world is in fact mentally ill. And if you are going to say that the majority of the world is mentally ill, because you have murders that are taking place every day, you have robberies that are taking place every day, you have kidnappings that are taking place every day, you have rapes that are taking place every day, you have domestic violence that is taking place every day, you have gang violence that is taking place every day, you have all kinds of crimes that are taking place every single day. And no matter what crime or what happens, the first thing that they love to say is mental illness. But the mere fact that we have an accountable um, history, like right in front of us, day by day, of things taking place, whether it be police brutality, whether it be racism, whatever the different crimes, these are taking place every day. So you are thus saying that the majority of the world, the masses, you would be basically saying about 60% of human beings in the world are mentally ill. And if you were to say that, then you would then have to ask, what is happening? What is being done that is making such a large amount of people mentally ill? Then if you were to go down that route, you would have to then say, well, how is it that, say, I'm just throwing a number out there because people love statistics and polls and voting and this and that or whatever. So if all of these crimes, You're saying that you would have to know that something is happening, something is going on. What is triggering these people? What is making these people do this? There is a vast amount of people who are killing their children, whether it be people killing other people's children or whether you have parents killing their own children, young children. We're talking babies. There are a lot of children who die between their infancy and their toddler age. And then you have a vast amount of children who are dying between school age and between teen age. So mass amount of people are dying on a daily basis. And a lot of these things that are taking place and going on, it gets slapped with a label mental illness. But if that is the case, if you want to say that, you would then be saying that the majority of the world is mentally ill. And if you were to take that approach, like I said, you would have to ask yourself, well, what is the government doing? What is causing a mass mental illness? Technology is being used. Um, Programming is being used. There are a lot of satanic, masonic, and demonic things that are happening on a daily basis that completely have people in a trance. This is triggering people's states of mind. This is triggering people's behavior and all kinds of things. And nobody ever, with any common sense, ever asks, well, if you are going to say, we know for a fact that all of these things are taking place. We know for a fact that the majority of the time that any of these things go on, whether you're talking about terrorism, whether you're talking about hate, racism, police brutality, whether you're talking about kidnapping, human trafficking, rape, torture, murder, child abuse, all these things a lot of time get slapped with mental illness. But why is it nobody with any common sense or any degrees have ever said, well, if the majority of the masses is mentally ill, how is it that all of the supposed leaders, all of the individuals who are in power, none of them are mentally ill, huh? None of them are affected by this, huh? Well, we know that is a lie, because these individuals are committing heinous crimes themselves on a daily basis that is going under the radar. Because see, when a lot of these things are put on blast and people are prosecuted or for these things, a lot of times what's put on display is regular everyday individuals. But so most people would probably say, okay, no, Tiffany, the majority of the world isn't mentally ill. Well, then you would then have to come up with another explanation as to why the heinous crimes are taking place. And nobody has an answer for that. Another thing that bothers me is you have a government that is, in fact, not a government. It is a corporation because it is a business. It is run like a business. You were lied to and told it was a government to control you and so that you would obey that government. This government, however, essentially brags and boasts about all the knowledge it has, all the power it has, all the technology it has, all the illuminating effects that it has. Yet, no one with any common sense or any degrees have ever asked, if you can see so much, if you know so much, if you have so much technology, if you have so much power and so much skill and so much knowledge, why some of the most heinous things, some of the most vigorous things, will they not put an end to? We know, in fact, why we are being invaded and violated on a daily basis. We have no privacy. We're relied and told that we do. We are being watched on a daily basis through our phones, through our TVs, through your smart meters, through your thermostats, through all your electronic devices in your homes, in your car, everywhere. You are being monitored. That data is being collected and stored within this matrix, within is this massive database of all our information. This is that our data, our information is being stolen on a daily basis, and not just regular information like what you do, where you go, who you talk to, where you work, how much money you got, this, that, and all those things are being collected. But we are also talking about very personal things like your DNA, like things pertaining to your internal organs and all kinds of things. So you were lied and told, made to believe that you have privacy when you don't. You were lied and told that you had human rights, which we know that to be a lie, because our human rights are being invaded and violated on a daily basis as well by the very government who created these rules, regulations, and bylaws that they invade and violate every single day. Yet nobody with any common sense or any degrees question this. Question these individuals, hold them accountable for lying and deceiving the masses. Nobody. You would have to ask yourself, with all the power that you have, with all the technology that you have, they have the power and the ability to know any and all my business. But then they will tell you that a terrorist have come on our soil and there's a terroristic threat. You mean to tell me that you got enough technology to know all my business, to gang stalk me, to harass me, to follow me, to watch me, to collect my data, to illegally invade and violate me? But your technology, your power, your skill, your ability, your technology don't have the power to shut down terrorism? Of course not. Because they are the terrorists. They are the domestic terrorists right here in the United States of America, right here on American soil. You mean to tell me that you have all this power? Don't tell me about how much power you got. Don't tell me don't go flexing your muscles on me and telling me just how strong and powerful and big and bad you are, but you can stop human trafficking, the sex trade in a day, but you refuse to. You have to ask yourself, people that run, rule, and control the world, that have that much, that love stunting in front on the people with how much money they have. Or we run the banking system. So we run this government, or we have these titles, these positions, we control all of this. Who do you think making billions of dollars off those operations? They have the power, they have the technology to shut down human trafficking, to shut down the sex trade, to shut down drug trafficking and the drug trade. But these are things that they could easily shut down, but they absolutely refuse to. So somebody with that much power and that much ability, that love flexing their muscles on you to tell you just how big and powerful they are and what they can and will do to you, absolutely refuse to use their power to shut down some of the most heinous crimes that is going on in the United States of America that is hurting the masses. Nobody questions that at all. So anyway, I can go on and on about this, but what I'm getting to is the fact that most people are unaware that targeted individuals, like I said, are being targeted on various different levels. Those targets whom are very weak-minded, they try to force to have a mental breakdown of some sort. Once they get you to this point and they have you under this full mind control, they have you where they are able to fully control you, your thoughts, your words, your actions, your everything. These are the targeted individuals that they use as in their psyops. Okay, these are the targets that they use in their psyops. So when you see the lone wolf shooters, these are actually targeted individuals whom they have groomed, whom they have programmed, who they have under mind control, whom they have essentially triggered to commit these crimes. And if they're collateral damage, they show up right away and they kill them. But if the ones who are under full blown mind control and everything from what they say to what they do is manageable and controllable by them, those are the very ones where they show up and they usher them out. And if you notice, those individuals are very quiet, they're very meek, they don't fight back, they don't resist, they don't try to run, they don't try to hide, they're not resistant in any way, they're not arguing anybody down in any way, they're not in denial of anything that go on. They're literally coached and led through the whole process from before and even during or after they were triggered to commit whatever crime or to do whatever it is that they have been triggered to do. And the whole operations, these, whether you want to say psyops or whether you want to say staged events, the entire operations are plotted, planned, and schemed up by these elite, these high profile powers that be. From where it's going to take place to what time it's going to take place to the patsy or that they are going to use in the psyop, to the crisis actors that they have on the scene first to be seen, to that talks to the media with the scripted responses and everything, to the time of day it's going to be there. If you ever notice when these things go on, it's like the first responders are already in the area. They're already down the street or on the street or something where they show up right away. For some reason, the media is there right away. This is because they were already aware that this was going to go on a certain day at a certain time and everything. And so whether you say staged event, whether you say false flag, whether you say psyops, these are staged events, and these things are plotted and planned in between several different people. Your elites, the satanic powers that be, your military, um, all your higher levels of government, they're all aware of these things that they set up to go down, and they do these things in an effort to manipulate and control the masses. That's the reason why they so forcibly now are stripping people from another right that your government told you have, freedom of speech. They have stripped that right away because they want to control the narrative. They want to control what you know when you know it. They want to control what you think, what you feel, what you say, what you do. They want to control every aspect of the human being, mind, body, and soul. They are seriously narcissistic about the things that they are doing, the things that are taking place, and it's split up. It's split up because you have such a large amount of individuals who are asleep, who are brainwashed, who are dumbed down, who are unaware. You have those of us whom are awakened and full blown targets, so we are getting worked against as well. And then you have the group of individuals who are the sellouts, who are in the know, who are recruited gang stalkers, who are recruited crisis actors, who are a part of these secret societies and these satanic powers that be, and they are